All right, welcome back, everyone. This is Ebony again, a.k.a. Fit Mom Diva of Simplicity Health Style. And today we have Miss Priestley with us. How are you, Priestley?
I'm doing well, and thank you again, Ebony, for having me be a part of this incredible experience.
Thank you. You guys, she has a wealth of gems to give us today, and I would strongly appreciate it if you stuck around to the end. As a form of appreciation for doing so, I will offer you a complimentary gift. So stick around and let's see what Miss Priestley wants to share with us today. So, Priestley, so we get to know a little bit about you. Can you start us off just by sharing one motivational quote that really inspires you, something that encourages you and gets you going?
Yes, so it'll be a quote by Nelson Mandela. I had the fortune to go to South Africa and go to the prison he was kept in, and the quote kind of stuck with me since then. It's, as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. And so
yes.
For me, it really means a lot because I really truly believe in light and giving off light energy so that other people can feel that light and can feel it shine on themselves and can see God through me in a sort of way. And then they can feel inclined or inclined to do the same for themselves. So that's one quote from me that has always kind of stuck with me, to say, let your light shine so that other people can feel like they can do the same.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that we all notice a difference between, those individuals that you're around where they're just always humdrum and very low vibe, very low energy, and they're always complaining. And, you don't feel good around these people. I mean, you might be able to be around that for a little while so you can help them through whatever their situation is, but you don't want to be around that kind of energy all the time because it brings you down, right?
Exactly. And it's really like, even when you feel like, it's the feeling that you get when you go into the sun, It might be a really solemn day. It might be really dim outside, and then the sun breaks out and you just automatically get a smile on your face. And you even feel that way when a certain person walks through the room, they're going to bring great energy. So that's kind of what I try to do with everything I do. Just bring some really great energy, and other people will feed off of it.
Yeah, and I think we'll even feel better when we do provide that kind of energy. I feel better when I'm able to exude that type of energy as opposed to when I'm like, oh, woe is me.
Versus the source versus the person feeding off of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The source never runs out of it. The sun doesn't run out of sun.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
But the people that feed off of it, when you do leave, they are cut off from that source, but they always remember it. And it's always about the way you make people feel.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing that. I strongly agree with that. We're on the same wavelength when that's concerned. I often, find that, there are times in our life where we're not able to, put that sunlight out and be our best because we have external circumstances that arise that kind of affect our mood or our energy. And, that's to be expected. Life is an adventure, and you're not always going to have sunshine and daisies every day, which is okay. Can you talk a little bit about a time in your life where you didn't necessarily see the light at the end of the tunnel? Maybe you were having some difficulty with being in the sunlight and you had all these things thrown at you, all these different obstacles, all these different circumstances that you didn't foresee. But at the end of the day, you were able to see that goal or that dream to fruition.
Yeah, so I will put it twofold. I'll do for like my internal challenge experience and then my external challenge experience. So like my internal challenge experience is really just like me and like my anxiety that I may feel sometimes, and not being able to really do things by myself in a way. So like sometimes I would get anxiety before leaving my house to go to the gym because I know everyone's going to be looking at me or something like that. Or I may not want to go to a concert by myself because I'm just like really in my head a lot of the times. And I know a lot of other people feel anxious about things, whether they don't respond to emails on time or they're unsure about how to react to something, or they don't want to go do something by themselves. And I identify with that, and I have actively been on this pursuit right now where I am being fearless with everything that I do. I am very I've settled into my fearlessness, where now it's a practice that I practice to be fearless versus I practice to be anxious about things. So even like today, I'll go work out in the morning with a room full of people, and I'll come back. And the faster I do it, the faster I can come back, instead of pacing around my apartment a bunch of times and trying to talk myself into it and telling myself, oh, maybe I need to do this before I leave, trying to stall. So that's my internal challenge experience that I really tackle every single day when it comes to dealing with the world. And I know a lot of people can identify with that. My external challenge experience is really just existing as a strong, competent Black woman in the workforce. And I feel like that for me has been just an incredible challenge. Just a little background about myself. I interned in the Council of Women and Girls in Obama's White House. I also ran an entire foundation after that to provide multicultural women with entrepreneurship support and financial literacy. And that was a project management job where I was doing all of it: hiring, training, curriculum development, app development, just doing a lot of things. And now I'm at a current job where it's just different. And, the demographics of the people are different. So they're not as accepting of me and what is my norm and what is, okay. But I'm also an incredibly competent human being, I believe, just based on my experiences and other people not being able to accept that in the same right. So things like that can be like microaggressions that I deal with at work that are just flagrant. So that will look like, I'm Jamaican in heritage and background, and someone will ask me, so are you bringing jerk chicken or something? Or I'm Black and I went to an HBCU, I went to Howard, and people will say, how was it going to a Black university, in a tone that they're skeptical about even the fact that I could get a degree from something like that. Or they'll invite me to events for like civil rights leaders, like John Lewis's celebration or MLK's birthday or something like that, and not to other things that they'll invite other people to. And that is a daily battle. That is a daily battle of whether, because the other person walks away from the situation feeling confident about what they said. They're in their own world, but you're the one that's left with the kind of residue of it. And so just being vocal at those times and saying, that's not entirely appropriate. And those things, I am actively trying to combat those every day, and to make sure that people feel uncomfortable in a good sense, like they feel uncomfortable by saying those things to me without being able to justify it out loud now, versus I'm leaving them uncomfortable because I was rude with them. So I'll ask them a challenge question saying, oh, why would you think you could say that? Or what was, I don't think that was entirely appropriate. Why did you say that? Or something like that. Just being able to communicate in a way that flips it on them. So then they kind of get hot and red versus me feeling hot and red, because I understand the root of a question and they don't even understand the root of their own question. So those are some challenge experiences I deal with on a daily basis. And it's just not easy. And every time you don't win, but it's something that I am trying to deal with. I'm happy to go into detail with either one.
Yeah, well, I think that you gave a very, very strong basis of you feeling like communication is key also, because they may not even realize what they're doing as something that's inappropriate, and until you bring it to light, they'll just continue doing that with other people, even if it's not with you, but with other people. So I love the way that you ask a challenging question to get them to think.
Yeah.
Because next time they probably will think before they say it. And I'm always open to other people telling me how to best communicate with them, because we always think that because we communicate a certain way that
Exactly.
other people should, communicate that way as well. And sometimes it breaks down relationships. I know I've had situations where I wasn't upset with people and they thought I was upset because I wasn't talking to them often enough. And I'm like, you could have just reached out to me and you would have known I wasn't upset with you. I was just busy.
No,
I wasn't sitting
that's
here.
that's a real thing.
Yeah, I
And
wasn't
I think
sitting
that
here like
communication,
hoping that you don't call me, hoping that you don't talk to me. I'm just busy. You could have reached out to me
exactly. And I
and
know
you
it
wouldn't have
will
been upset.
eventually get to our support system and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I really want to dive into that because I think it's really important that you do communicate in a healthy way and you stand in your truth. And a lot of the times you don't want to be confrontational, or you don't want to be the angry Black woman, or you don't want to be whatever in their mind is a caricature of yourself. But you also are occupying a certain space and you have to give that space its due. And as honestly, a lot of the times the only Black person in the room, or as the only person of color in the room, you always have to know that the next person that does occupy that room is going to be going through the same thing. So are you going to say something? And it's a daily battle. I'm not saying I'm there all the time trying to fight. I'm not the sojourner truth of every situation, but I try to make sure that there is a conscious dealing, whether it's even picking speakers. We run many different events and have different panels, and they'll say, oh, we need a Latino woman for this, we need an Asian woman for this, and we need an African American woman for this. And I say, why? And even just saying why, they'll be like, they won't know how to really respond to it because they haven't been challenged on it before. And so now you're occupying a space where people, you're occupying a space where everyone around you knows you're going to challenge them on their tactics of choosing a panel. And the panel could even be for like the top scientists in the world or something like that. And you're trying to deck this panel in a way that's not reflective to the actual accomplishments. It's always great to have African American and a Latina woman or something like that, but is it authentic? Are you actually picking the top scientists in this thing, or are you having a conversation on race or something? And that's why you want to make sure it's diverse. Or what's the real root to why you're looking for this diversity, and is it only for a show? And that's kind of something that I've been encountering, is that a lot of the times when they do want to have a conversation about diversity, it's never about, it's twofold. In this example, it's they want to appear diverse.
Yeah.
And that's something. And then there's another conversation of, they'll say a program is diverse, but it's not diverse in color and it's not diverse in ethnicity. It's diverse in location, because I work for an international organization right now. So they'll say, oh, we have people from Sweden, or we have people from Italy, or we have people from X, Y, and Z. But that doesn't actually mean that they're diverse in color or socioeconomic background or even industry or something like that. That actually, for me, is the definition of diverse. And so it's, in this workforce, you're just battling, but, you choose your battles and you really try to shed light on your experience as you, going back to my quote, and you hope it gives light to, the situations that happen after you. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that in certain work environments and for certain industries that you go into, you feel sometimes alone in that the other people around you don't really understand you and they don't understand how to best support you.
Exactly.
One reason being that they don't know how to communicate with you. So can you speak to people that they have a specific goal in mind, they have a specific endeavor, and they're feeling that aloneness. Like they don't really feel like the people that are in their industry or the people around them, whether they're family, friends, colleagues, whomever, they don't feel like those people are really connecting with them in the way that is giving them the support that they feel like they need. What are some other ways that people can look outside and find a very strong support system so that they can realize their dreams and their goals?
Yes, I appreciate that question. And I do have to say, you have to take a step back. And before you start seeking other people, you have to really set into who you are. So whether it's journaling, your 5 top qualities that you love about yourself. Like me, I love to dance. I love to go to concerts. I love to talk to people. I am a girl's girl, and I can hang around some dudes and drink some beer and we'll be fine. And I am an intellect. I like to have intelligent conversations. I like to, I observe art and I like to critique it. I'm always, these are the things that I know about myself. And I know these are the things that if I don't have these things in my life, then I won't be happy. Right. So I've set the stage of who I am. And so that's extremely important. So, and you look in your circle and whoever is around you, you say, are these people supporting these things? Mm-hmm. And you have to have what I call a recalibration mode. And when you, when you're like, you have a GPS or whatever, and it's like recalibrating. It's trying to get you to your destination, but you have taken maybe a wrong turn, or you need to reevaluate where you're at, and you need to recalibrate how you're going to get to your destination. So I have those come to Jesus moments where I'm saying, maybe right now I need to recalibrate. So I'll look at the people in my life and I'll say, well, I have one girlfriend that, she is my fun girlfriend. We do these great things together, and that's great, but she's not necessarily big into politics or something like that. And so she's not feeding that. So in that area, maybe I need to grow in that. So it's really just having an actual really good sense of self to say, I need more of X, Y, and Z. So after you've listed all the things you want and that define who you are, you can now see who's actually aiding and abetting that in a positive way or a negative way. Yeah. And I also say you just got to protect your energy and not cut people out. I think there's a way that you can, recalibrating for me really looks as a scale. I'm giving more energy to the people that are feeding my spirit, and I'm giving less energy to the people that are not feeding my spirit. And I never really understood the concept of energy until I felt like I didn't have any more. And you don't really, until you get to that low, it's really hard for you to understand the concept that someone could be draining you. I looked at my situation at one point and I saw I had a group of 6 girlfriends, and it was like a movie to me because I always wanted like my girl group of friends. And I realized the only reason they really wanted me around is because I'm an amazing planner. Like if they wanted anything planned, they'd hit me up and say, hey, Priestley, do you want to plan our spring break trip? Do you want to, she's getting married. Maybe you can plan the bachelorette party or something like that. And I'm a great party planner, and I appreciate that they would come to me, but then I realized that was the only thing they were coming to me about. So just calibrating, like, is that the energy I want to give to them? Because I'm not even sure if I have my bachelorette party that they would even want to be involved, other than the party favors or something like that. And so it's really just being able to really say, this is the energy that I want. So how do you get the energy that you want after you said, I want to reevaluate this in a different way? So for me, it's really about maintaining my fearlessness. As I said, I get a little bit a bit of social anxiety about doing things. So I constantly push. I push. And people probably would not even look at me and say that I'm anxious or that I get fearful or anything, because I wear my superhero cape like nobody's business. And so what that looks like and trying to really get dynamic relationships is getting outside of your box, looking for groups that can feed your soul. So I joined a group called Starting Block because I wanted to deal with kind of like liberal people in a different element that wanted to quote unquote change the world, that were entrepreneurs, that understood the dynamics, all came from different and like backgrounds and industries. And I looked into this group. It's called Starting Block. I recommend it to anyone. I'm happy to talk to them about it. But it has different sessions all over the US, and it has an international base too. And you go there, and if you need to figure out your life, like they have the tools for you to like really digest like what's going on in your life, and to say like, you know, when I went there, I was like, I really need a change of, you know, work environment, people environment. And I met some really incredible people. So that was something. So I look for groups, I look for events. I'm always on Eventbrite looking for things that are interesting for me. I go to concerts by myself and the people that are at the concerts like the same artists you like. And most of them are extremely friendly. And so you put yourself into environments that you like. And that's the center of having a good support system. You are the center of the things that you like. And you just talk to people. You talk to people, you follow up, and you take yourself out of your comfort zone just for a little bit, and you make sure that you establish a one-on-one relationship with someone, and you follow up with them, and you try to be a friend to them. I got a friend, it's like I got a friend, but I got a friend by going to the copy machine at my previous job, and we were just talking about something random. And she ended up living in the same building as me, and we ended up to be workout partners. And that was really just us talking, us following up, texting each other, setting up a plan, being accountability partners, and really being able to be, you know, kind of prosperous in this. And so I was, you know, it's something that is challenging and it's hard. And once that person doesn't show you a good light of themselves, you know, be very quick and to have discernment in those situations, but also be extremely open to other people. So that's my advice when it comes to really building a support system that is beneficial for you. I've always been the person that is supporting other people, being the best friend to them, giving them that energy. And I deserve, like you deserve. And if you can come to a place where you can say, I deserve, like you know, you have a different mindset about the people you interact with.
Yeah, and you said some things that crossed over into us giving ourselves self-care in that same question that you just answered. And I think that the more frequently that you could feed your spirit with good quality people around you, you mentioned getting a workout partner.
Yep.
Finding people that can help hold you accountable to feeding your physical body, eating well, getting rest. Simplifying things in life is what I always tell people is what makes things less stressful. You know, the more that you can do all of those things and be very conscious of the type of people that are around you and the type of things that you're doing,
yeah,
more energy you're going to be able to have to be able to commit to some of your endeavors. A lot of times we may not commit to some of our endeavors because we're just really low on energy from all the other things that we need to do in our day. But then we look back and we say, man, I could have accomplished a lot if I just took out even 15 minutes a day to talk to that person that feeds my spirit, or spend some time alone, or go on a hike, or go and plant some flowers, or paint a picture, or whatever that is, whatever self-care is to you and what that looks like for you. You just spend a little bit of time. By the end of the week, look how much time you've accumulated. Look at how much time you've accumulated if you spend a little bit of time every day for a year, as opposed to being an all or nothing. Oh, if I can't spend an hour, then I didn't give myself enough time. 15 minutes is quality time.
Yes.
You know, what would you say to ladies that are listening that feel like, you know, I hear everything you're saying, but I feel stuck. where I am right now, I've heard all this before and it sounds good. I know what to do, but I'm just not doing it. What is a action step that you would give to these ladies that are feeling stuck where they are?
The feeling of feeling stuck, I can say like I feel that currently. Being stuck it can be a mindset, it can be just incredible disappointment for where you are in your life, and you feel like what you do is not going to change that. But I think for me, what I do is I evaluate it and I say, what is preventing me doing the things I know I need to do to get out of it? So you can have X, Y, and Z, but maybe it's not for you. So, but you have to really evaluate who you are and what can work for you. And if you're not trying anything, then you're not going to be doing anything.
Yeah.
It's really about, I really feel like it comes down to fear. And fear, there's an analogy. It's like fear everything, and there's an analogy that says face everything and rise. So for me, that's what fear looks like. So I can face anything and still rise. So whether it comes to going to a concert by myself, which I went to yesterday, like being fearful, like, oh, what if this happens? What if this happens? Who am I going to talk to? What is this going to happen? And all I'm in my head is doing is I'm preventing myself to doing the actual thing that I want to do. And it's really about taking a tiny baby step towards the things that you actually like to do. And I feel like courage is practiced. It's not something you're born with, and unfortunately. So you have to practice that courage every day. And when you see something, you really want it, but something in the back of your head is telling you no, just keep going. And if you practice overcoming that fear and being courageous, every time you have a little chance, even if it's like the courage to go to a restaurant by yourself, or whether it's maybe you're signing up for a dating app, maybe that's what you want to do, and you're fearful that other people will see you, just do it. Like, there's certain things that you just have to do in order to move forward, and inaction does not actually move you forward. It never does.
Yeah, so, I always tell people that you had mentioned taking baby steps. I always tell people that it's okay to take baby steps too. You don't have to overcome in one night. Because I think that sometimes people feel like, well, if I don't make this massive movement overnight, then I might as well not do anything at all. There are so many different things in my life that I've taken baby steps that it to other people may seem like I'm really dragging my foot because I'm not moving as quickly as they want me to move.
Exactly.
But in actuality, all those baby steps are adding up. You're just not seeing it because you're not around me 24/7. But
it's really like practice, in a corny way, practice makes perfect. And if you want to be the person that you want to be, you can see that in your head and you say, who would that person be like? What does that person be like? Whether that person speaks up at a meeting, that person defends another person, you see it you can do it in a small action, whether it's at the moment where you think you should be doing it, or whether it's after and you pull someone to the side and say, I really don't think that went as well as it could have. And I think these are X, Y, and Z way of doing it. But that little things like that can really push you in the way where you are actually being received as the person you actually are. Because that person that you want to be is really the person that you are. And so what you're really having to do is evaluate whether you want to be that person or not. And I'm not saying whether that person is living in New York City, living their life, spending a lot of money, living their best life. That's that person. But a tiny baby step right now is maybe you don't move overnight or something like that, but now you're looking for a little job or something like that where you can get your feet off the ground. You're looking for the job that can support the lifestyle that you really do want, or you're taking those baby steps to really, start mapping that out. Maybe you see the type of apartment that is and see how much that is going to be. Now you're budgeting because you don't want to move into a lifestyle you don't want to be in. You know what I mean? Whether that person is incredibly healthy and fit and is taking great pictures on their vacations and their body looks like that, what are you actually working out to get that body that you really do want? It's those tiny baby steps that really can move mountains and can start it's like a ball rolling down a hill. If you are able to just get over that hump and create a lifestyle that has discipline in it, that has fearlessness, push and interweave through it, you can really make a difference in your life. So that would be my advice, for anyone that is, feels stagnant and feels like they are not making a lot of strides in their life. Just take one step.
Yes, thank you so much for mentioning that. And I think that not beating yourself up because you're not moving as quickly as your next door neighbor that started with you at the same time.
Yeah.
Because you could fall into comparison-itis, like, oh, well, we started at the same time. This person is over here and I'm still back here. It really doesn't matter.
A hard one. That's a hard one. I went to Howard, and I'm telling you, those women and men that I was going to school with, they were some dynamite people, even to this day. Some are on TV, some have these, a multi-billion-dollar, job or business that they've grown. Maybe they work for an incredible organization. In that comparison, it's hard to not fall into that and to say that you're not doing enough, but it's always important to say, that's just not my journey, but I'm happy for them.
Yeah,
you'll look back on the Oprahs. Oprah didn't really hit until she was 40. All these people that you really admire, some people had to work harder and may have a longer longevity than the people that have received it earlier and are not able to sustain it for a long amount of time. So it's your own personal journey and whatever really works for you and what is in God's plan for you. So that's what I believe.
Yes. I was actually just talking about that with some ladies that were feeling like, well, maybe I should be doing this and I'm not quite here yet. And I'm like, it really doesn't matter. You're like in your 20s, you have plenty of life left. And even if you were older than your 20s, I still think that, we all, and you said it correctly, we all have our own journey and we all have our lessons that we need to learn along the way. So beating yourself up is not going to get you there any faster.
Exactly. And you also have to know what is for you is not what is for them is not always for you. Like when I know, especially people my age, they look into social media and they'll say like, maybe I should be doing the flat tummy tea, or maybe I should be doing these things. And because other people are able to get checks off of it, which, a check is really great. And, I'm all for getting your bag, but like, certain things, if it's not sitting well in your heart, don't go after it because it might not just be for you. And you just always have to stay true to yourself and to what I know we call it our brand now. What is your brand? Are you staying true to your brand? But I also think that's just kind of code for, are you staying true to yourself? And your brand and yourself should be synonymous. So.
Yes. Thank you so much, Priestley. I so appreciate you. You said a whole lot of stuff that we all need to hear and be reminded of. And I think that even at times where you feel like, you have it all together, you don't have it all together all the time. So you said a lot of stuff that we can go back to when we're not feeling our best and like we're not putting our best foot forward. And I think that, life is a journey. That's how you have to approach it. And sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, sometimes it's left, sometimes it's right. I always realize that, it really doesn't matter what happens in my life. A lot of times things end up still being okay. As long as you're living and breathing today, things have been okay in your life, right?
Exactly.
So, relish in that, knowing that things will always be okay. Thank you so much. Any of you listening, if you feel like you can benefit from sharing this content out with any of your friends and family to help them in their endeavors. As Priestley talked about, it's not always easy to find a strong support system. and maybe you can't be that, support that they need hands-on in their life, but sharing this content out with them can surely benefit them in their endeavors by just listening to an encouraging word. So I encourage you to share this content out with anyone that you think that can benefit from it. And for any of you that are listening and you feel like, wow, Priestley said a lot of stuff that, really resonated with me, and I would love to be able to share my experiences and my challenges as well, reach out to me. All my contact info is in the description box. Reach out to me, and I would love to have you speak in one of my upcoming interviews as well. Priestley, I appreciate you. No matter where you guys are in the world, please always remember to live a life full of meaning and purpose. And I'll look forward to connecting with you in our future episodes. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you again. Bye.
Very welcome.